What's crack-a-lackin' fellow home dogs, it's your boy Channel Pup, and in a previous video we counted down the top 10 worst Family Guy episodes. But I did of course mention that I am a huge Family Guy fan, and I do have a lot of positive things to say about this show, so let's count down the top 10 best episodes. Hi, so I just quickly want to preface this video by saying that there are times in this video where I might refer to a certain order of Family Guy episodes in sequence. This might not be accurate because I know that the episodes released in a different order in the UK. So if anything I say is incorrect regarding the order of the episodes, that's why. So in 10th place we have Road to the Multiverse. Now, we are starting off incredibly strong. Road to the Multiverse is one of the show's Brian and Stewie specials. Those specials are always some of the highlights of the show. Also, when Family Guy goes out of his comfort zone and tries some ideas that are a bit more outside the box. This is the best of both worlds, as Brian and Stewie travel across different dimensions. The highlight of the episode is easily the Disney universe, where Family Guy enters a Disney animation style, and it just looks beautiful. In 9th place we have Daboom, the season 2 opener. Family Guy came back with a vengeance with its second season, forming more of its identity for the coming years. Family Guy started off as this old-fashioned family sitcom, with a bit more of a satirical and irreverent twist, so kinda like a bit of a Simpsons clone in a way. But when Daboom came, everything changed. Suddenly, everything was possible for Family Guy. It was more satirical, it had a harder edge to it, it was more fast-paced. They could do bigger, more fantastical ideas. It was more violent, and they did it so well with Daboom. Daboom, in many ways, is the first proper Family Guy episode, where it really set itself aside from The Simpsons and really formed its own identity. And the episode is still hilarious today. And in 8th place, we have Ptarded. After the show's second cancellation, Family Guy came back with a vengeance again, as season 4 was even sharper, even funnier, and even more well-paced than ever. And it brought us the episode Ptarded, an episode in which Peter discovers that he is retarded. At first it takes a bit of a toll on him, but he realizes how much fun he can have, and Peter is probably at his absolute funniest in this episode. You wouldn't think diagnosing a dysfunctional family father in a cartoon with an actual mental handicap would work, but somehow this story only got better after that revelation. But we also have the hilarious sequence of Peter thinking he's a genius. This episode is just the quick-fire comedy that Family Guy does best, probably at its best. In 7th place, we have 3 directors. This episode is 3 short Family Guy stories told in the style of different directors, parodying Quentin Tarantino, Wes Anderson, and Michael Bay. And the parody of these 3 directors' style is done really, really well. Can I be completely honest? When it comes to shows like Family Guy and The Simpsons, I'm not huge on anthology episodes. I mean, not the Treehouse of Horror ones, those are great, but like when they just do, oh yeah, here's 3 short stories with these characters, never really that big on them. I think Family Guy does it better than The Simpsons, and this episode is the epitome of that, because it's a lot of fun, and the satire is as good as it is in any other episode here. And it's not done in a mean-spirited way either. There's clearly a certain degree of respect for these directors. And they also didn't just go for the easy, obvious jokes either. So the 3 directors, great episode. In 6th place, we have Brian and Stewie. This was the first major Family Guy character study, and this is an example of where it gets it really, really right. Take note, send in Stewie, please. Brian and Stewie have some of the bigger adventures on Family Guy, so what happens when we spend a double-length episode of them just locked in a bank safe together killing time? And this is an example of where a killing time episode gets it right as well. Once again, take note, Seahorse Seashell Party. It isn't full of filler, it's full of these character moments of Brian and Stewie breaking down each other's personas and discovering that deep down they love each other and they need each other. And I think the message of this episode is a really human and a really beautiful one. It starts off with that gratuitous sort of icky humor that Family Guy's kind of known for, but about halfway through that gets deconstructed and we've got a more serious, less laugh-centric episode. They just really got the character study right with this one. In 5th place we have PTV.
PTV. Like Ptarded, PTV comes from that era where Family Guy was at its absolute fastest pace, with its humor, and just at its funniest. PTV has Peter Griffin trying to run his own TV network, and as you can imagine, hilarity ensues. Just all of his ideas for TV programming are just fucking hilarious. There's also a great musical number in there as well. PTV is just a perfect example of Family Guy at its funniest. It's not one of the more ambitious episodes, but my god is it a laugh riot. So, we're at the halfway point, and before we proceed, I just wanted to ask you guys, if you're enjoying this video, hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel. If you want to come and interact with me, there are links where you can do so in the description below, as well as the Patreon and the join button for if you are feeling extra generous, but that's obviously a big ask, so you don't have to. Don't worry about it. In fourth place, we have I Dream of Jesus. Now, post-cancellation episodes that center around Peter Griffin tend to follow a certain formula. Peter Griffin finds something he likes, it becomes an obsession, and he takes it as far as he can go. And that's a winning formula, but I Dream of Jesus takes that and reduces it to its simplest element, and takes it as far as it can go in the episode's first half, before changing direction. Again, this is one of the funniest Family Guy episodes, but at the same time, this episode for some reason just feels a bit more event status than the typical Family Guy episode at the time, and I think it was because Family Guy was starting to experiment with scale a little bit. And it is very much made up of two halves. The first half is about Peter discovering the song Surfin' Bird and annoying the whole town with his love for it, which is a really hilarious first half, and then there's the back half where Peter Griffin meets Jesus when trying to find a replacement for his Surfin' Bird record, and takes him around town and exposes him to the world. Somehow, Peter Griffin and Jesus Christ have great chemistry, and their antics together are just hilarious. As well as that, the song Surfin' Bird would become a staple of Peter Griffin as a character in years to come. Whenever I hear that song, I always think of Peter Griffin. In third place, we have And Then There Were Fewer. This was Family Guy really going outside the box. The laughs weren't quite as fast-paced as they were in other episodes, but they were definitely there and they hit hard when they did. But the story very much came first. This was a murder mystery episode that brought a lot of notable members of the Family Guy cast together, and even killed off permanently some key players in the Family Guy cast, really shaking up the status quo and giving the show more of a concrete sense of consequence and continuity. This was a very interesting evolution of Family Guy, because this episode in one swoop did brand new things with the show, and they did it really, really well. This in some ways felt a little bit like a Family Guy movie, even down to the fact that it's even animated nicer than usually. Everything had shading on it. It was just impressive. In second place, we have Road to the North Pole, the first and only festive special to be a double-length episode. And this was in the same season as And Then There Were Fewer. Once again, Family Guy really starting to show its teeth a little bit, with bigger, more event status episodes. Road to the North Pole is one of my favorite Christmas specials of anything I've ever seen. For starters, it's a musical, but the songs are not too intrusive, and the songs are actually really, really good. They feel almost kind of cinematic. The story being that Stewie wants to go and kill Santa Claus after he doesn't get what he wants for Christmas, and so Stewie and Brian travel to the North Pole only to find out that Santa's very old, decrepit, and needs help, and it's all this very Tim Burton-esque nightmare at the North Pole. We then see how difficult it is to actually be Santa Claus, which is quite funny because it does address that kind of point that every realist has ever made about the concept of Santa. How could one guy do that all in one night? It does it in a hilarious and suitably Family Guy way. It does end on something of a moral message, which is a little bit sickly sweet, but I think that's more because it is a festive special, which is fair enough. But it was nice to see not only a Family Guy episode, but a Road 2 episode go this big. And I don't think we've ever quite reached that sense of scale and scope ever since. Before we get to the first place, let's go through a few quick honorable mentions. There is, of course, the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy. The Family Guy writers clearly had a lot of love for Star Wars when making these, and it's a very authentic and very funny experience. Family Guy definitely got the satire right with these ones. Back to the pilot. This episode was kind of like a reward for everyone that had stuck through Family Guy, and seeing Brian and Stewie meet not only their past selves, but as animated in the style of the season 1 Family Guy episodes was easily a highlight, as well as the dystopian 3D animated future. Absolutely superb stuff. Emmy award-winning episode. Family Guy desperately trying to win an Emmy by parodying a number of different Emmy award-winning shows. brilliant, and they got them all very right. And now for my number one pick for the best Family Guy episode. What is better than one brilliant, iconic, dysfunctional family on screen at once? Two. Which is why my number one pick is The Simpsons guy. Now, I know it's kind of strange to have a crossover which isn't a quintessentially Family Guy episode as my choice for the best Family Guy episode of all time, but this crossover is damn good. For starters, I didn't think a Simpsons and Family Guy crossover would ever be possible, and I had been let down by a few of the things that Family Guy had called crossovers in the past. Take note, Seahorse Seashell Party. But The Simpsons guy really delivered, and they delivered it in a double-length special. The metaphor of Homer suing Peter for plagiarism with Fred Flintstone as the judge is just genius satire. Not only that, but this episode is not entirely a crossover in regard to writing stuff. This was done entirely by the Family Guy writers, but holy shit, guys, they got The Simpsons so right in this. Like, this is one of the best Simpsons episodes in a very long time, and it's not even a Simpsons episode. Everything that I loved about the early era Simpsons episodes is here and present, and the Simpsons characters and the Family Guy characters play off of each other exceptionally well. Like Family Guy's best satires, it comes from a place of love and respect, which is why it is my number one best Family Guy episode. It's so weird to think my favorite Family Guy episode has The Simpsons in it. What does that say about me? Well, I love both shows. Like, I love The Simpsons and Family Guy pretty much equally, maybe teetering a little bit more towards Family Guy, just because I like that quick-fire humor, and I think they do things like big adventure stories better than The Simpsons tend to. The Simpsons as an entire premise is naturally more boxed into that animated sitcom format, whereas Family Guy can do more. But this isn't a Simpsons versus Family Guy video. This is my top 10 Family Guy list. What do you guys think? If you disagree, by all means, write your own list in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Just don't be a dick about it, because that says more about you than it does about me. But if you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below are different links to different social media handles where you can come and chat with me, as well as a link to the Patreon once again, and the join button. And of course, you don't have to do that. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day. Gosh, I am clunky at endings, aren't I? I do not do endings very well.